someone fails to pay their property from the government by paying the taxes. Then when the owner finally pays, you get the interest owed from the delinquent bill. And if they never pay the property, it goes into foreclosure, where you get cheap. It is by far the easiest way to get
YouTube, what up, though? It's Jermaine the Credit Fiend. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for taking the time. These violations, doesn't matter which law it is or which statute, which code, 15 U.S.C. 1681, doesn't matter, 15 U.S.C. 1638, 1692, whichever one it is. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's just more like a legal opinion. You can like it or don't like it. We're going to lose the argument of violations of this and violations of that for one main reason. We were unable to make legal sense out of our argument. Legal sense. Not social media sense. Not even common sense. Right? TikTok, information going on TikTok and it's a violation of your rights for late payments or repossession. It's a violation. Okay. Again, you're making a claim. And on TikTok or whatever, even on YouTube, it may make sense. It makes sense. But does it make legal sense? Or are you able to make it make legal sense? I'm reading emails. I get up about 3:30, 4 o'clock every morning. I go through my emails. It's not my business. Just offer that to help people. I don't have to. I don't have to. All right? But I take my time and I go through the emails and I try to respond respectfully. Okay? One of the emails asks me if I'm scared of, I don't talk about eviction. Am I afraid of evictions? Well, I'm afraid of being evicted, but evictions? Let's go back to this legal sense. And I'll answer the thing about eviction. I'm going to start with eviction. Eviction is a what? Process that requires what? Procedures. Credit reporting is a process that requires what? Procedures. Debt collecting is a process that requires what? Procedures. Everything we do is like procedures. Do you know the procedures? If you get to know the procedures, you got the upper hand. Why? Because then you can quickly identify what is inaccurate and make it make what? Legal sense.
Right.
Legal sense.
Got to calculate.
Again, not social media sense, not Jermaine the Credit Fiend sense. You don't need me to. Some people in the email actually want my approval to say whether something's a violation or not.
Right.
Okay, even if I said it is a violation, can you make it? Are you prepared to make legal sense out of it? You're gonna say you're gonna send someone a threat to take civil actions. Can you make it make legal sense? Because see, let me share something with you. My top video, no such thing as an auto loan. We've been played. That's my top video. Just because I said no such thing as an auto loan, people email me, hey, I got an auto loan. That wasn't the whole point of the video. I'm just saying it's not a loan. I to get the definition of a loan. I said it's a secured credit transaction. It requires an A, B, C contract. A is the dealer, the seller. B is you, the buyer, the consumer. The dealer gave you the vehicle, signed it over to you. That's that transaction on the retail or the agreement, the retail installment sale contract. Nothing in there about a loan. But you missed it. Missed the whole point of me making that video.
The whole thing.
Then I went into what? Now you attack what? The itemization amount finance because it's a what? Process. Requires what? Procedures. Attack the procedures.
Yes.
You think the dealer overcharged me $1,906 all the fees combined, man, all the charges that they overcharged me. You think they gave me that chief financial officer FedEx me a check for that $1,906 plus an additional $3,000 for what? What do you think he gave the additional $3,000 for? I had to, in my letter, I had to make it make what? Legal sense. Legal sense. I had someone get over almost $3,000 back from BMW. Even though it was going back and forth, when that legal team reviewed the information, they gave this individual a gag order. Like, well, we'll give you the money back, but can't tell nobody. See, I ain't say what it's BMW. Why? Because legal sense. So no, I'm not afraid of no damn eviction. Do a video about eviction. I got that locked in my head. But obviously, you probably was afraid to pay it, or you had a reason why you didn't pay it. I do videos to help people. I got out of the credit repair industry, right? But I'm like, I feel like with all this information that I use to help so many people, just the people, you know, compared to the society that we live in, that's a small number. But I figured, well, you know what, since I was willing to sacrifice my life from the age of 17 to 37, 20 years, 5 months, 28 days, serving this country, I joined for my own personal reason. But when you join, it don't matter what you coming in for. You got a mission. Mission first. You got willing to sacrifice, and many of you know, our brothers and sisters, they paid the ultimate sacrifice. They never made it home. So scared to talk about eviction. Repossession is what? A process. Just like I said in my video, requires what? Procedures. Foreclosure, doesn't handle that. What is that? Procedure. Attack the procedures. Bankruptcy, procedures. Attack the procedures.
Right.
If it's not procedures of the bankruptcy, and the source of who providing that information to the Consumer Reporting Agency, they had to what? Use what? It's a procedures. I attack those procedures. I just recently did a video about sharing letters, $10 letters. I intentionally made that video long. And I said, let me see. You know what? I want to see the average view time. Let me see just how, you know, someone's willing to give this information. Like, hey, look, I can show you how to make a dispute, simplify a dispute to the Consumer Reporting Agency. You don't have to ever ask for a temper style letter again. And you should never use a temper style letter. For what? I can help you make your dispute 2 or 3 words. I said no more than 5 sentences per people. I can shorten a dispute to any Consumer Reporting Agency just to a couple words. I shared that in the video, and I said, wow, my rating sure did drop because the average view time. I'm like, wow. So the ones that did view it, that probably wanted the information, they was unwilling to do what? Many nights, days, weeks, months, even years, I sacrificed to learn this stuff. To be able to do what? Not to help me, help others. If you're helping other people get what they want, in return, you'll get what you want. Zig Ziglar. I didn't make that up. Zig Ziglar. That's a quote from the late Zig Ziglar. May he rest in peace. I said, if I help enough people get what they want, in return, I'll get what I want. The same for you. Whatever it is that you have it. Legal sense. That's the problem with most people. Most of the emails I'm reading and the issues people are having, I hear you. But the problem is you're not making legal sense. I made it public. I don't do theories, so don't come at me. I said, please don't come at me with the theories. But here we go. Everything in society is free. Right. Okay, I got you. Did you go talk to your state legislators? Did you go make that argument with your state legislators? Because that's the one who's legislators, as far as I know, is the one who passed laws. Did you go to them? Did y'all team up in your state? Everybody in your state that feels that way, did y'all get together, did a petition, and go make legal sense out of your argument? Right. You didn't? Oh, okay. So you go on YouTube.
This is what I'm
videos.
Tell people right here.
And you attack that way. See, we're not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. I just know that your argument doesn't make what? Legal sense based on all the cases that I've read where people trying this right here, they fail. So instead of looking at me as the enemy, you need to be focused on trying to make legal sense of your argument. How do you do that? Well, if I'm taking the time to read the cases and say, well, let me see what these people are talking about. And I'm reading cases, federal cases, Supreme Court cases, and looking at how the legislative, right? The judicial.
what he said right here.
System, the legislature, how they view it. Why are these people losing? Because they're not making legal sense. But the people like us say, hey man, I don't want to try it or whatever. You look at us like we the enemy. When really we watching your back, like, hey man, they got snipers behind you, man. Right? Ready to take you out. You're not making legal sense. You can put all the USCs you want, mixing them all together, whatever you want. You want to make gumbo out? And be like the one case I read, the Supreme Court judge said, this case is not worth a footnote on any page in any book.
Help us.
That's a legal way of cursing somebody the hell out for wasting their time.
Right.
This case is not worth a footnote.
Wow.
On any page in any book.
Wow.
Damn. Oof. All that arguing, all the stuff you're saying, right. What they're saying, you're not making sense.
You ain't worth the
But you got to look at it the way they do. Does it make legal sense? Because if you're saying that everything in society is paid for,
how crucial that is.
That means your labor is too. So no one have to pay you because when you were born, you got this millions of dollars or whatever already in the account prepaid for. You working for this company right here, you don't need a check.
Right.
Now, does that make sense? See? But you say everything in society is paid for. That means you're paid for it too.
Right.
Your labor is paid for. Not making sense. The IRS. People use the IRS for to get out of debt. Does the IRS handle debt? The IRS does what? Primary purpose of the IRS is taxes. You're either going to pay taxes, right?
Or be paid.
Reduce taxes or be exempt or excluded from taxes. That's it. Taxes. The IRS do not get involved with you paying somebody what you owe. But here we go. People use it. Oh, you can use a 1099-C to cancel your own debt. Does that make legal sense? I'm not even a tax expert, but this is why I said tax. Does that make legal sense?
This thing, it looks like an ordinary hiking stick. This is from Rhino USA, and it's built for way more than walking. You'll carry this once and never hike without it again. Let me show you why.
Hey, listen, you fighting that collection? You gotta look at what you amount for. You want it off the credit report? Look at all this other information on here. That's what incomplete or possibly inaccurate that you can go after instead of saying, it's a charge off. I want to get rid of the charge off. Your mind is only thinking charge off. I'm looking at all the other information on that's incomplete, unverifiable. The inside, like, hey, look, I'm not somebody on here that's coming here to hype you up or telling you to sell you a wolf ticket, right? I didn't charge you $1,000 or whatever to take my course, $2,000 to take my course to teach you this stuff right here. I say, hey, I'm willing to do small groups. But that's for a fee, but it ain't gonna be no damn thousands of dollars for what? And I'm not gonna do no whole course. We wanna talk collections? We can talk collections all day long, but my time is limited. So, but I guarantee you, in an hour or 2 hour video or whatever, 2 hour conference or hour conference or whatever, I'm willing to share anything I have to teach you or to educate you or whatever on what I have encountered or I have learned throughout the years in the credit repair industry. And now, oh my God, that stuff, listen, validation of debt, people, let me give you let you in a little something about requesting validation of debt. You just let the debt collector, you let him off the fucking hook. You let the debt collector off the freaking hook by requesting a validation of debt. Now, when you do that, you requested it. You requested validation of debt. Well, here you go. Here go that Dunning letter. Here's the name of the creditor. Here's the amount that you owe. Oh, and by the way, you got 30 days to respond. Y'all know that this communication from a debt collector, any information you use, you asked for it. You did that. Yep. I said, hold on. Don't do no validation of debt. Debt collection is a what? Process that has what? procedures. Which one of those procedures within the validation of debt specify are you attacking? That's what you do. You don't request a whole damn validation of debt all over again. I'm telling you this because this is mistakes that not just me, but many other people are making, even in the credit repair industry. Y'all paying y'all hard money every month for that. I did the video about sharing, template style letters being used. You paying your hard-earned money to be a part in that credit repair group that's having template style letters. It's like Lexington Law. Just send out the same damn letter for everybody. Right. You paying your money. It's a hit or miss. It's the odds. If I send 200 letters out with the same thing, I know some of them going to get it. Can be 25. Guess what? I'm posting all my results from those 25 people. I'm not going to talk about the 175 people that got verified as accurate.
Right.
But you don't want to hear that.
Right.
I say everything in society is a reflection. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You got somebody who's trying to, hey, look, I'm giving you guys behind the scene, like this is how it go. Forget all that stuff you was told, that hype stuff about everything on the credit report got to be 100% accurate. That's not what the Fair Credit Reporting Act says. It doesn't say that. Section 607B of the dome of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Look at the accuracy of report, and you'll see clearly what it says about how accurate a credit report is supposed to be. You want to say that all reports got to say the same thing. The date of last activity is different, so it's no, it doesn't. It don't have to be the same.
It only needs to.
Because the date of last activity, that creditor, that furnished information to this bureau may be different than the other bureau. How is that going to be the same? Equifax going to say, well, this is the last time we received any information. Maybe they gave the TransUnion, but they didn't give it to us. Trying to say that. Look at that damn comparison disputing. That weak ass dispute. That's it's weak.
It's weak.
It's weak.
Very weak. A very weak argument.
And people don't want to hear the truth. Oh no. Don't want to hear the truth. They want to be lied to. Everything that you dispute, you want to lie, everything that you dispute in your credit report, people, they have to delete it. Now that sounds much sweeter. But see, the problem with that is, one thing I just did was sprinkle shit. I sprinkle sugar over shit. That's all I really did. And if you eat it because you know it's shit, and you see it got sugar sprinkle on it or whatever, and you eat it because you think it's sweet. It's still shit. Still shit.
Right?
Let's get fiscal. Lesson 2, credit card combat. Getting your finances together? Learn to master your money with Credit Karma today for a stronger tomorrow. Defend yourself against generic advice and one-size-fits-all recommendations. Credit Karma gathers offers from trusted partners, helping you quickly pin down the cards and loans that are right for you, so you can build those money muscles. Harness the power of Credit Karma today to win your financial future tomorrow.
We want to get.
I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell your house for any reason, Click the link in this video to see if my offer is right for you.
No, she part of the other people that try to get over on us.
Someone told me this right here one time before. They said, don't step into someone else's car. When you step into someone, that made sense. So some people, that's true. You can't get over it. You can't go under it. You can't go around it. You can't avoid it. You gotta go. You know, it burns. And that prevents you from what? Doing it again. Just went through them 3 years. I said, well, I know this my call for something. I know it is. It's not saying that's the only time I went through something in my life, but I'm just saying though, you know, people don't want the truth. I got it. You want the blame to be on someone other than yourself, but it was you. Just like I had to face me. I did that to myself. I did it to myself. You watch my video. How did I treat them? My word wasn't in the pudding. It's like, never, hold on there. I'm repossessing, but you.
Now, quick. Because what he talking about, he didn't make a specific statement exactly like I did in my video because we're different. But we have come to the same conclusions, apparently. What he did say is that you have to admit your faults. And I said was, you have to remain in honor. It's the same thing. You have to remain in honor. He have on his uniform because he trying to let you know you in military combat when you dealing with these. You in military combat. It's like they committed an act of war. What you saying when you bring somebody to court, you saying they committed an act of war against your estate. That's how you're supposed to be presenting yourself with that type of understanding. Now, you don't go in no court hurling out accusations with those direct words. But what I'm saying is how you're presenting yourself, that is what position, that's your posture. That's supposed to be your posture. Not your posture is not supposed to be at ease. If somebody has declared war on your estate, why are you at ease? Why didn't you file any motion? Why didn't you rebut the claim in some manner? Even if you do not do a legal rebuttal, which is called an answer, okay? A lot of people try to stay out of the jurisdiction of the statutory jurisdiction using certain words or using certain privileges of the court. When you file a motion, you're asking them to do something for you. To be sovereign. So you don't file motions unless you are willing to submit to the rules of the court. But what you can file is responses. In common law, we can file responses. If you're initiating a claim, you can do that, but it is not called, don't refer to yourself as a plaintiff. You are not a plaintiff. You can be file a notice. You file a notice. You giving them notice of their violations. You're not complaining about nothing. You are sending them a notice of obligation and or sending them a notice of breach of obligation. Or when you send in a a Form 56 fiduciary, you sending in just an information notice to let them know that you is the fiduciary. For those who on that level. I don't want to get too deep with it because you first need to understand the preliminary shit. That's what he's trying to say. We got to get the preliminaries out of the way for all of the privates or whatever they call it when you first get in the army or whatever. For all the privates, we got to get you up to speed on what the rules is so that you can follow the rules. And know that all that man in the land shit don't got nothing to do. Let me explain something. Because we got to be more intelligible in court. Okay? When I went into court for my house, it's important to understand that when you in court for a house or real property, not a contract, property, a contract is real property. Let me see. But it's another type of contract. Let me see. The point is, land, not your house, don't got nothing to do with the law. You think it do, but your house ain't nothing but an improvement on the land. And so when you're going in to do any type of documentation or representation for your estate, your house, because the house itself is an improvement on the land. And what you would be establishing is that you're a settler. And you got business, you got your family, you got shit going on there. That's what you establishing. You got shit going on over there. You encumbering that land. And you have every right to, under the First Amendment, to do that. And you got a right under the First Amendment to shoot a motherfucker that stop you. That's what the First Amendment right is. It say you got a right to liberties, and that if somebody come on your land, you got a right to bust a cap in their ass. And that includes the police. Because they are the ones that are responsible to know these laws and to not to breach that. And so you wouldn't even think of them as a respectable officer, and you don't have no right to think of them as an officer if, in fact, they are being dishonorable. If, in fact, they are being dishonorable. If, in fact, they are being dishonorable. If they are not, say, for example, if they come onto your land or your property and they are using an investigation as an excuse to access your property, because they do that, and they be being sneaky and disrespectful. So I'll get into that a little later. More. Oh wow! Hold on one second.
by the way, I didn't get the documentation because it's procedure. So yeah, I'm not gonna pay. I'm gonna do a settlement. Though, see, I do a settlement, and I'm using the violations or whatever that you have on my credit report as leverage to do what? To secure that. And by the way, I need that deleted from my credit report. That's it. Take it or leave it. And I want that. If you agree to that, I need that in writing. I need to sign by some. And I did that. See?
Right.
I didn't get out of paying out of nothing. Sometimes you have to pay. Most of my clients, most people, not all. Most of my clients that had collections and all that stuff, they didn't have to pay. Why? Because I said, hey, we need to create. My key thing was creating leverage. I need to create leverage to protect the client.
Right. Wait now. Hold up. We need to discuss this. Hold on.
When you've got a big financial friend who can give you.
All right. that came right on cue. When you have a big financial issue going on, all right, and you don't know how to handle it, you need help. It does not make you immature because you don't know. It do not make you stupid because you don't know. We all been stupid. We all is still stupid about something because one person can know everything. So we all is stupid about something. Get that out of your head of worrying about frivolous stuff that don't matter. What somebody gonna think about you. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of motherfucking questions. I'm going to tell you one thing that can help you in your journey to excel quicker, to learn this information quicker. When you are looking for information, how did I come up on information that I had when I was looking on YouTube? I was very specific, and I would get angry when I go to YouTube. Say, for example, we're going to go to YouTube right now, okay? And we're going to do a demonstration of a demonstration of how I search for things, okay? And then maybe that's what we call Zito, okay? Zito don't mean look. That's just topical, okay? That's just on the surface. Zito means to perceive in depth, to understand, to know, to become intimate with understanding. Intimate with the understanding, okay? Walk with me. Talk with me. Tell me what's on your mind, okay? Now, you'll see a pattern here. These are my searches. I need to take a picture of that. My searches. And they have a pattern to them. Look at them. They have a pattern to them. And that's Chris Hauser. He's very knowledgeable in the law and taxation and so forth. He knows he's learning about criminal law, but he doesn't know much about that. If you want to know about criminal law, you'll have to go to a secured party creditor, which is down here with Yusuf. Yusuf has a lot of knowledge about secured party creditor. Okay. And I did a search. How many people are actually doing lives about this type of information? And the search results said that I don't even know. Okay. And search the engines for this type of information for me so that it don't pull up stuff that I'm not interested in. People fighting, people arguing and stuff like that. That's not my style. Look at my searches. That's not my style, baby. I keep it real all the time. That's not my style. Um, I I be looking at different questions because I was born mentally retarded, which means that don't mean that I can't learn, but it do mean that it gotta make sense for me to get it. It's got to make sense. Got to make it make sense. My baby sister say that all the time. Make it make sense. Because if it don't make sense, I'm going to tell you right now, it don't make dollars neither. And if it don't make dollars, it comes back around to not making no sense. And so, particular broadcast as far is to help you understand what an affidavit is or what you're doing when you're filling out these, um, I spelled fictitious wrong, but it did pull up what I was looking for. Um, I have a lot of broadcasters online here, and they call Real Talk Sex versus Love, because a lot of people don't understand that um, your understanding of sex goes a long way with learning court practice, okay? And the reason why I said that your understanding of sex and sexuality is very important and have everything to do with court is because, let's run this back. I'll give you a good example to help you understand the relation between the two. If you're terrible in bed, I guarantee you're going to lose every time in court because you don't know how to finesse. Boom, shakalaka. I'm going to say that for the slow people in the back. If you are terrible in bed, or say, for example, if nobody never told you was terrible in bed, but you is terrible in bed, just go in any courtroom and try to fight a case, and that will let you know that all this time nobody told you that you was terrible in bed. Because even if you don't know anything about the law, a person who is gentle, a person who is fair, a person who represents themselves well enough to get in the bed with you, uh, can also um, uh, perform. It's called performing in court. You have to perform. And so If they can get you in the bed, they can show enough perform. That's why they'll say whether you have a case or you don't. That means you ain't even get me in the bed if you ain't even present your case properly and it got dismissed off real. Okay? If you submit a case and it can't make it through summary, um, it should be able to, you should be able to be the one to ask for summary judgment, not your uh, opponent. That's how cold and solid your case should be. And whenever you ask a woman to lay down with you, you're supposed to be able to know you can satisfy her, not be wasting her time when you do. It's the same thing in court. They don't want you getting them in the bed and don't give them no orgasm. They want you to have a solid case. What people don't understand, they be so thinking everything in the court system is against them that they don't understand. And I don't even think Chris really understands this to the capacity that it is. I would love to have a straight up talk with him. But you have power when you create a claim. A bond is created, okay? And a record is created, okay? They um, want you to have a valid claim. The reason why the court system's not your opponent necessarily, but I'll even explain to you how sometimes your opponent may want to go to court. It's the reason why they don't won't settle. They want to go to court because perhaps it helps them to have bills to pay, expenses. Oh, we have court expenses. We can write that off on our taxes. See, so it's not always a negative thing the way you think in the first place. Um, now, um, of course, if the person is making a claim of fraud or something like that, they're not going to want that to further. They'll just further claims that are just based on little frivolous stuff, and they know you really don't have no case anyway. And so they'll make the best out of that. They'll send you around the hoops and hoops and hoops like they didn't want to pay just because they did want to pay. They just want to get it on the record that they put a lot of time in this case first, so they can file a motion for attorney fees. See, it's all a game. It's all a game. And you got to understand it's a game, not to take it so serious that you get angry with people. And we all just doing business right now. We just doing business. And some people get hurt, like for real in the process. That's what Chris is so passionate about. They put him in jail. And I learned today they sexually assaulted him there. And I'm glad he did um, verbalized that and got that on the record. But he was supposed to have sent that, filed a complaint and a report to the grievance office in the Health and Human Services, like I did. And now they have a record of that. And they ain't got no excuses, so that when I go before the court against this Houston Behavioral Health Services, when they locked me up and they um I got it on the record. If they ain't gonna be able to say to me, well, why didn't you tell this person and why didn't you report it to that person? Because I did. I absolutely did. And I did it it's Matter of fact, I tried to call while I was in the place. He be saying, "You called the police on us." And shit, I don't play no game, baby. I'm reporting your ass off the rip. I didn't answer to no fucking summons from them, but I had already responded by, I had reported them in the court system soon as I got out of jail. I reported them back in the system. I sent a case on them as soon as I got out of jail. That's probably why they keep putting my ass in jail. I, as soon as I got out of jail, I put a lawsuit on them in the record down in the county. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. You got to do that almost immediately. Act almost immediately. You don't want to act like you ain't getting no notice. You don't want to avoid notices, because that's how they get that acquiescence on. You got to backpedal from that. Now you got to maneuver around in the, I forgot what that, I need to learn that rule. I want to learn that rule. I think it's rule 11. But anyway, there's notice. Um, it's the rules of practice. It's rule number 11, I think. But we gonna find out and know for sure. All of the rules are important, but they got certain ones, like the rules of evidence. All right. No. Okay. Rule 11 is sanctionable actions. All right. Sanctionable. When you can use rule number 11 to sanction a motherfucker. All right. And so, but we going to find out which, let's see, which rule. Let's do a good example of finding out specific information. Don't look up everything. You can't look up everything. Just stay focused, all right? So what we want to know right now, we want to know what, okay, what federal rules see how they got the rules for evidence? What is a federal indictment? Hold on. What is federal court? What is a federal informant? And what is a federal state? We need to circle back to that. What is it? That's another way that I search for things too. I don't just look at what I looked up. I looked at all the related, already prearranged topics that may be related to what I'm looking for. And so, let's do this. Instead of saying federal rules, what we gonna say is civil rules, okay? Because they really common law rules, okay? Oh, look at that. What is civil matter? What is a civil matter? All right? It's a lawsuit, it's an issue, it's a complaint. You see right there? It pretty much answers your question when you get down to the last question. It's an answer pretty much to the first question. What is the civil matter? And you go on down to through all the questions and you get an answer. That's how you Zito, baby. Get an answer. You're going to get an answer. Don't have to be the answer that other people came up with, because their answer could be wrong. What is civil rule for Mm. Mm.
She say she's short 20 cents. Can she get a Dutch?
I don't have none.
You know that, man? You want that? What's up, motherfuckers?
Lord have mercy. Um, that's my brother now. Okay. What civil rule for um notice? See there, administrative cases in the civil service. That was nothing like what I was looking for, but the system detected that may as a suggestion, and I agree that that sounded like more like what I was looking for, and so that's the way I do my searches. Um, I don't stick to my guns on what I specifically typed in to do the search. I allow suggestions at that time to determine if it may be applicable or it may be something else totally different that comes up that I didn't know anything about, maybe actually unrelated, but information I still would like to know. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just um, checking this out. Rules on administrative cases in the civil service. Mm.
Relaxed classroom would be the 2017 rules on administrative cases in the civil service. I find this relevant, especially to those students or those viewers now who are working for the government. Now we have to take notice. The first consideration would be the covered agencies. The covered agencies of the 2017 RACs are as follows. Them, and you have to take note of them because in one of these agencies listed. Now, the cases to be heard under or which are covered under the 2017 rules would be classified into two: disciplinary and non-disciplinary. Disciplinary cases are those involving the government employee, and there's a complainant and there's a respondent. Okay. Aside from this consideration, you have to also consider the jurisdiction of the Civil Service Commission, the regional office, and the district authority has a concurrent jurisdiction with working for them. Now, I'm classifying it in my presentation here, the covered agents, the jurisdiction, and also the nature of the case. As to the Civil Service Commission, disciplinary cases, we have 8 of them. You just have to take note of these items. That's the first half, and in a while I'll be showing you the second half. You have to remember that decisions of the disciplining authority wherein the penalties would exceed 30 days suspension or a fine exceeding 30 days salary, that's covered under the Civil Service Commission disciplinary case. However, it's possible that even if the penalty is below the 30-day period of suspension and also below the 30-day salary as fine.
I'll rewind. Hold on. I'm finna run it back. There we go.
Or which are covered under the 2017 rules would be classified into two: disciplinary and non-disciplinary. Disciplinary cases are those involving acts or omissions committed by the respondent or the government employee, and there's a complainant and there's a respondent. Okay, aside from this consideration, you have to also consider the jurisdiction of the Civil Service Commission, the regional office, and the disciplining authority. You have to take note also that the disciplining authority has a concurrent jurisdiction with the Civil Service Commission as to the employees working for them. Now, I'm classifying it in my presentation here, the covered agents, the jurisdiction, and also the nature of the case. As to the Civil Service Commission disciplinary cases, we have 8 of them. You just have to take note of these items. That's the first half, and in a while I'll be showing you the second half. You have to remember that decisions of the disciplining authority wherein the penalties would exceed 30 days suspension or a fine exceeding 30 days salary, that's covered under the Civil Service Commission disciplinary case. However, it's possible that even if the penalty is below the 30-day period of suspension and also below the 30-day salary as fine, it can still be heard before the Civil Service Commission if the same, it's in our second half of the list, if the same is alleges or there's an allegation that the right to due process was violated. So the civil service can take cognizance of that case. Now, what about non-disciplinary cases? Non-disciplinary cases would involve 6 of them based on my list and based on the 2017 RACs. You have to take note that basically the non-disciplinary cases does not involve a fault or an act or omission, or basically non-adversarial. Okay, let's go to the second half of the list. If you look at this, my observation that non-disciplinary cases are non-adversarial. Although there could be an issue or a concern, but just like the reassignment, there's no complainant there, but basically the person involved who is being reassigned will be asking for a reconsideration before the Civil Service Commission. What about those cases cognizable before the regional offices? And these are treated as disciplinary cases. We look at it, then you will know the cases I'm talking about. We only have, I'll go back to the slide, we only have 2 disciplinary cases or classes of disciplinary cases that are heard or cognizable before this regional offices of the civil service. Now, as to non-disciplinary cases, these are the list. You have to take note of these 3. However, if you are the complainant and even when you filed it in the wrong office or venue, you still have a chance that the case will not be dismissed because under the same rules, the agency in which the complaint was originally filed is directed to refer the case to the correct agency. So you just have to take note of that. So you are not hopeless, actually. Okay, based on this, I just want you to, I want to discuss what the rules really provide. It provides the procedure, actually, in these cases that I'm listing here in my presentation. Actually, these cases or the procedure I've listed are clearly provided in the rules, and I'm advising you to read the full text, because what I'm doing now is just a run through of the 2017 RAC. So it's basically important that you will read the full text so that your knowledge will be widened and you will not just be dependent on our discussion for tonight. Okay, these are the cases. Now, it is very important to know, especially when you become lawyers, you have to be very keen on the procedure. And these are clearly provided by our rules. Now, let's go to the things or the items that I consider as salient points, or you have to remember. But before anything else, I just want you to know also that the same rules provides the procedure in non-disciplinary administrative cases, so that you will know what you will go through, especially like, for example, in the list here is the invalidation or disapproval of appointment. What will you do? So at least you are guided on what to do. And I hope you take note of the 5 items in the list of the non-disciplinary administrative cases. So let's go now to the items that I consider as important. Okay, you have to remember the jurisdiction of the Civil Service Commission, the regional office, and the disciplining authority. However, if the initiatory complaint was filed in the wrong agency, you are not hopeless. As I emphasized a while ago, the agency is directed to refer it to the correct agency. So at least the case will not be dismissed. Okay, the requirements for an anonymous complaint. This is very important because the general rule is that complaints must be verified. So I have here a salient point that anonymous complaint is allowed under the law, but there should be the element that must be complied with. Even if it's not verified, the facts alleged in the anonymous complaint must be of public knowledge. That's one. Or the allegations can be verified or supported by documentary or direct evidence. So there's still a requirement. So at least it's not going to be unfair on the part of the respondent especially. What about the procedure in sexual harassment cases? This is an incorporation of the policy of the government on gender and development, or GAD, because there could be sexual harassment cases left unheard or untouched because of the patriarchal society that we have now. What about preventive suspension? You have to take note of.
1 second. We're going to do a separate broadcast on that. That needs special attention. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in our next live.